Welcome to your deep dive. Today we're diving into the heartbreaking case of Gabby Petito. The young woman whose cross-country road trip just took this tragic turn. It seems like everyone was captivated by this case.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those stories that just grabs you.
For sure. And you helped us gather this really comprehensive article from CBS News that lays everything out. It goes from their, hopeful start with van life to the devastating discoveries, even the legal battles, everything. Expert speaker, just looking at this case, what's your initial reaction?
I think the Gabby Petito case is kind of a brutal example of how fast a dream can turn into a nightmare,
It's true.
You see this young couple, they seem to be living their best lives, posting about their van life adventures. But then you dig a little deeper and there's this undercurrent of volatility there. And it all kind of explodes with that 911 call from Moab, Utah. Remember that
Well,
one?
absolutely, the domestic dispute call.
Right, exactly.
So let's rewind to that Moab incident for a sec. You have this couple, they're on this adventurous road trip, and then suddenly, bam, police are called. That feels significant, don't you think?
Yeah, no, it totally does.
What can you tell us about that incident? What actually happened, and what do you think it means for the case as a whole?
So the Moab incident, it was all caught on police body cam, right? And watching that footage, it's like you're looking through this crack in the surface of their, seemingly perfect trip.
It's true. They always seem so happy-go-lucky in their videos and stuff.
Right. But in the footage, you see this distress, this volatility. It should have been a huge red flag. And it makes you wonder, could law enforcement have done anything differently?
It's a chilling thought.
It is. And when you look at the police report and then you start comparing it to similar cases, especially cases where someone ended up losing their life, you see these missed opportunities. It makes you ask, what if they had separated them for the night? Could that have changed things?
Knowing what we know now, it's just heartbreaking.
It really is.
And it's so sad because just a few weeks before that Moab incident, they released that YouTube video, Van Life, beginning our van life journey. They were all smiles.
Right.
And then on August 25th, Gabby sends what we now know is her last Instagram post. This is from Grand Teton National Park. And then things get really strange with those texts from her phone.
Yeah.
The ones her mother said were suspicious.
Absolutely. Those digital breadcrumbs, they become super important to the case. On the surface, they seem normal, but then you read them and...
What was it about them that was so off?
Well, there's one in particular where the text refers to her grandfather by his first name. That was really jarring. It just felt off. And coupled with her mother's intuition, it really points towards someone trying to mislead everyone, to cover up what really happened.
It's like they thought of everything, but they missed that one little detail.
Exactly. And that's the thing with digital evidence these days. Social media, texts, location data, it all becomes crucial for piecing together a timeline in cases like this.
It's like a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? Social media. Because then you have people coming out of the woodwork.
Ooh, tell me about it.
Remember Miranda Baker? She's the one who claimed she gave Brian a ride while he was hitchhiking alone.
Oh, right. And that was before anyone knew what had really happened.
Exactly. But when you think about it, you have Gabby's last known communication, and then Brian's out there, alone, trying to get a ride. It's a bad look.
Yeah, it definitely adds another layer to everything. And then, of course, you have Brian returning to Florida by himself on September 1st, which, really set off the alarm bells for a lot of people. What did you think when that news came out?
I mean, that was a huge turning point, wouldn't you say? It wasn't just some guy coming back from a road trip. It was a man returning to his parents' house while his fiancé, who he was supposed to be traveling with, was missing.
Exactly. And then to make it even more suspicious, Gabby wasn't reported missing until September 11th, and it was her mother who reported her missing, not Brian.
That 10-day gap is really something else.
It really is, and unfortunately, that's just the tip of the iceberg. As we go further into this case, it's just going to get more and more complicated. It really highlights how powerful information and misinformation can be, especially when you're trying to find out the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. Things get way more complicated. When Brian returned without Gabby, the media just exploded, Law enforcement, the public, everyone was trying to figure out what happened to her.
Social media was blowing up, too. It felt like everyone was sharing updates, theories, even possible sightings. It was hard to ignore. But do you think all that attention helped or hurt the investigation, looking back?
That's the thing with these high-profile cases, right? It's a double-edged sword.
For sure.
On one hand, you had so many people invested, sharing information. It put this huge pressure on the authorities. Maybe some leads came in that wouldn't have otherwise, But on the other hand, it was like this flood of misinformation.
I can only imagine.
People speculating, even harassing each other. And that just makes it harder for investigators to see what's real, to sort through it all.
It's a tough balance to strike. And all of this is happening while the search for Gabby and for Brian is ongoing. And then, September 19th, that's when the news hits that remains were found near Grand Teton National Park,
Oh, wow.
where Gabby was last known to be.
Right.
And then, just the next day, the FBI raids Brian Laundrie's family home. It felt like things were moving so fast.
It was intense. Every new development just made the case even bigger. And then, of course, they confirmed that the remains were Gabby's and that her death was a homicide. Suddenly, all the focus shifted to Brian Laundrie, who was now a fugitive.
And that's when they really started digging into all the digital evidence, right?
Yeah.
Like the FBI issued an arrest warrant for Brian, but it wasn't even for murder at that point, right?
No, it was for unauthorized use of a debit card, presumably Gabby's,
For over $1,000, right?
while she was missing. Exactly. And it might seem like a small thing, but it was actually a smart move.
How so?
Well, it gave them concrete evidence to tie Brian to something that looked really bad, like he was trying to cover his tracks,
That makes sense.
So yeah, it helped build a stronger case against him.
So now there's this nationwide manhunt for Brian. And then on October 20th, his remains are found in the Carlton Reserve in Florida,
Right.
along with that backpack and the notebook. And we all know what was in that notebook.
It's chilling, isn't it?
It really is. What was your reaction when you found out about Brian's confession?
To be honest, it sent shivers down my spine. We talk about this case and we talk about the facts, but to actually read Brian's words, taking responsibility for Gabby's death, it just brings home the darkness that can be hidden inside anyone. But as tragic as it is, there were still these legal battles happening in the background.
You're talking about the lawsuit Gabby's family filed against the Moab Police Department,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Remember when we talked about the police response in Moab?
And whether they could have done more.
Right. Gabby's family truly believed that the police could have intervened more effectively, that their inaction contributed to her death. And that's what the lawsuit was about.
And it wasn't just about Gabby's case either, right? It felt much bigger than that.
It really did. It forced everyone to look at how law enforcement handles domestic violence, how they need to be better trained to recognize the signs, to take action.
Because Gabby's case really showed everyone what's at stake when those situations aren't taken seriously enough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a devastating reminder that these things happen, And even with Brian's confession, even with him being gone too, the legal side of things didn't end there.
Right. You still had the lawsuit against Brian's parents.
Oh, right. Gabby's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against them.
Yeah, they claimed that Brian's parents knew about the murder.
Wow.
And that they helped him while he was on the run, which, you can imagine how that just added fuel to the fire for everyone who was already so invested in this case.
Absolutely. Did they ever go to trial?
No, they ended up settling for $3 million.
$3 million.
Yep. And the money went to the Gabby Petito Foundation.
Can you tell us a little bit about the foundation? Like, what's their mission?
So it's actually really inspiring, the foundation, They're trying to make something good come out of this horrible tragedy. Advocating for victims of domestic violence, supporting families with missing loved ones, educating people about the warning signs of unhealthy relationships. It's really powerful.
That's amazing. It's a good reminder that even in the face of something so awful, positive change is possible.
It really is.
Gabby's case started so many important conversations, and not just about her death, but about how law enforcement deals with these situations, how social media can help and hurt, and just the need for so much more awareness about domestic violence.
It's a conversation that we need to keep having. Gabby's story shows us how important it is to be aware, to speak up if something feels wrong, and to demand better from our systems. From everyone, really.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive into Gabby Petito's case has been incredibly eye-opening and honestly very moving. Expert speaker, thank you so much for walking us through it all.
It was my pleasure, really. And if our conversation helps even one person recognize the warning signs of abuse, or if it gives them the courage to get help, then it was all worth it.
And to our listeners, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, please remember you are not alone. There is help out there. You can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline 247 at 800-799-7233. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.